We're back here on Talking Sports, Kip and the Legend with you. We always got to talk about football, Legend. I mean, it's June 1st.
It's too close, not
It's
too.
kickoff's like a week away, right?
It's just around the corner. You know what I'm talking about?
All right. So today, here's what I want to do, and I think it might be surprising. You and I did not compare notes on this.
No.
I have got my top five, and I've got them in order on the very top because the number one on the top list is pretty much wide open. I don't think we're going to disagree on that one.
No, not at all.
But I've got my top five and my bottom five coaches, not necessarily in any order. And I thought it'd be interesting for us to compare notes and see how those come out.
All right, love it.
We'll let you start with the top. I wonder who the number one coach in your estimation is.
Well, you know who it is, Kip. Ain't no reason to beat around the bush. It's Nick Saban.
Yes.
He is the greatest coach in college football history.
Maybe ever. Oh, yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Ever, Kip. In my opinion, Bear is a close second. No disrespect. We love the Bear. But Nick Saban is the greatest coach today. And if his hip surgery wasn't a success, Kip, we was prepared to tote him out on the field. I mean, it don't matter. As long as we got him there, it don't matter if he's on a platform with a bad hip. If we have to roll him out there, Kip, he's the best at what he does.
I kind of pictured that kind of Roman Emperor
you know, that Roman Emperor. We're going to tote him
about 8 guys.
Yeah, we're going to tote him on out there. If the hip surgery went bad, Kip, we done had a plan.
Well, what a beast, Nick Saban. He had the hip surgery on a Wednesday. I think he played in the Regions Pro-Am the next Thursday. What a beast.
I mean, he's a beast, Kip. And you know, 65, 70, that's the new 50 now. I look for this man to coach at least 10 more years, Kip. And he just got 23 of the ESPN top 150 recruits from last year. It's a machine. It ain't slowing down. Clearly the number one. Everybody else is chasing him.
All right. Who's your next four, just off the top of your head, in the top five?
Well, Jimbo Fisher is 2. Kirby Smart is 3. Dan Mullins is 4, and Coach O is 5.
Very interesting. I completely agree with your top 4. The fifth one, I'm going to surprise you, because the guy who I believe rates that spot for me is the guy who gets more out of what he's got to work with, which is not very much, than anybody else. Derek Mason has taken Vanderbilt to 3 bowl games in the last 4 years with nothing. The Commodores have nothing. So I'm going to put Derek Mason in that group, and I think he really belongs there.
Yeah, I would agree with you. He's a great coach, but I just look at results and people who can produce greatness. And in the SEC, you got Alabama, you got A&M, you got Georgia, you got Florida, and you got LSU. Those 5 teams are capable of winning a national championship and producing a dynasty like Alabama has today. Everybody else is out of the picture. Therefore, in my mind, their coach can't get them there. They don't belong there in that top 5.
Okay, this should be fun. The bottom 5, because I've got some names on this list that might surprise you. Now, there's one I'm sure we're going to agree with, a fellow we talk about. Yeah, I heard that. It choked you up. There's one fellow on that list we talk about all the time that I'm sure probably made your bottom 5 too. Take a guess who that might be.
It's got to be the Gus Bus.
Of course.
About the Gus Bus.
Talking about having a lot to work with and not getting much results, just like Derek Mason gets amazing results with nothing to work with. What's Gus's story?
Well, he might have single-handedly destroyed Jarrett Stidham's career. I mean, he set Jarrett Stidham back 5 years in the NFL. It might take him 8 years just to be Brady's back.
Belichick will get him back.
Yeah, he'll get him straight, though. But the problem is, Kip, he was a high school superstar coach who tried to translate that offense into college football. It worked with Cam Newton because Cam Newton could have ran any offense. He was 6'5", 260.
We could have picked somebody off the street and it was going to work with Cam Newton.
Draw it in the mud, and it'll work.
He was a freak.
But when you don't have that kind of talent, you see the real coach come out. He's just not going to take Auburn anywhere. That's why I feel like he's clearly in the bottom 5, Kip.
Okay, I'm going to throw a name at you that I've got in the bottom 5, and maybe he can turn it around this year. But I thought Joe Moorhead inherited a great team last year, a fantastic defense, and a quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald, that had 2 really good years in a row. You talk about ruining a quarterback. Nick Fitzgerald couldn't complete a pass from here to the cameraman last year.
You know, he was an NFL prospect before Joe Moorhead came along, Kip. And I agree with you, absolutely. I think when you had Jeffrey Simmons, you had Montez Sweat, you had Jarrett Green that the coach drafted, you had the safety Abrams that was a high second-round draft pick. You got a great quarterback coming back, and this is what you do, and now you lose all this.
Lost 4 SEC games.
I mean, I think it's just straight downhill for Mississippi State from here. This is the example. We bring it real here, Kip. We keep it 100. I mean, this is the example right here, Kip. When you pick a bad coach, you get 5 or 6 years of continuing nothing.
Well, we'll see if he can turn it around or if it continues to go the wrong way. We're just about out of time. You're one of your top 5 guys?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Coach O. I got you on the bottom 5. I just don't think Coach O. Again, LSU had the kind of talent last year where they're going to win a lot of games, and they'll probably win a lot of games again this year. I just don't see Coach O being an elite coach.
Well,
he's at an elite program.
You know what this demonstrates, Kip? The coaching in the SEC is not as strong as the media pretends that it is. Other than the top 4, I really struggled, and I don't even know if Dan Mullins really belongs in that category if there were more real good coaches
That's a great
in the
point.
SEC.
I've got Barry Odom and Matt Luke as my other bottom 5. Anyway, we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll update the Belmont, and I've got some surefire betting advice so you can cash some tickets on the Dogs.